We are now getting breaking news out of Washington. CBS News has learned Congressman Henry Cuellar is being indicted by the Department of Justice. Cuellar and his wife are being charged with conspiracy, bribery, money laundering, and acting as an agent of a foreign principal. He denies any wrongdoing. The Texas congressman has served in the House of Representatives since 2005 and is the former co-chair of the Congressional Azerbaijan caucus. Back in 2022, his home and Texas office were searched by the FBI as part of an investigation into businessmen with connections to Azerbaijan. Cuellar's lawyers at the time said he was not the subject of the investigation. For more on all of this, I want to bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane. All right, Scott, you've taken a look at this indictment. What more can you tell us about the charges?
The prosecutors are alleging a rather elaborate scheme by Congressman Cuellar and his wife to enrich themselves in return for official acts or political acts by the congressman on behalf of the Azerbaijan government and a foreign bank. Among the allegations here is that Congressman Cuellar's wife set up this shell company in which she signed on as a consultant to various businesses tied to the Azerbaijan government or the bank and didn't really do any work. And the payments were, in fact, payments in exchange for acts undertaken by the congressman. And this 54-page indictment, Elaine, lists a whole series of alleged acts taken by the congressman to benefit the Azerbaijan government. I'm looking at some of these allegations, including helping with an immigration issue for an Azerbaijan citizen, but also helping to put language into legislation to help geopolitically or the security interests of Azerbaijan. And what's important here is some of this allegedly was undertaken from the congressman's post on the powerful House Appropriations Committee, which helps figure out where U.S. tax dollars go. They're also alleging here he tried to navigate some of the military legislation passed by Congress and swing it to the benefit of Azerbaijan. In fact, in one message they alleged in 2014, the earlier window of these allegations, they say Mr. Cuellar wrote good news to a point of contact, an Azerbaijan diplomat, about some language he got included into the National Defense Authorization Act that would be favorable to Azerbaijan. Elaine, they're alleging there were payments made to the congressman and his wife to coincide with some of these alleged acts by the congressman in Congress. Elaine, I'll underscore something else. This is not the first member of this Congress to be charged by the feds. There is another charge against Robert Menendez, the New Jersey senator, also accused of taking bribes. And famously, there was that fraud case that's still pending against the former Congressman George Santos, which helped lead to his expulsion.
And Scott, looking through this indictment, you mentioned some of the period of time that these allegations date back to. It does cover quite a number of years. I wonder what else stood out to you from this indictment.
Yeah, the length of the allegations is quite something. They're iterating acts in this indictment as early as 2014 and through 2021. That timeline is important because we know there was a court-authorized search of the congressman's home in Texas in 2022. And we learned at the time from sources that it may be tied to a federal investigation of Azerbaijan and foreign businesses. Exactly what we're seeing in this indictment. The references to his work on the House Appropriations Committee stands out to me, in part because it's potentially the most powerful of Congress's committees. When you sit there on that panel, you have extra leverage. He was a ranking member, the top Democrat on the Homeland Security Subcommittee for the House Appropriations Committee, a uniquely powerful perch. And we learned just before coming on now, Elaine, he has temporarily at least stepped aside from that ranking member seat on the House Appropriations Committee. That was announced by the House Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries.
All right, so that repercussion, Scott, a direct result of this indictment. Anything else that you're hearing right now in terms of reaction? I know this is a story where the details are just emerging at this moment.
Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, in his statement says Mr. Cuellar is entitled to his day in court, and then we reserve judgment pending that. But politics may not be the primary concern, but they're not absent in this case because Henry Cuellar represents a competitive district. It is a dogfight each time for either party to win that part of South Texas. Clearly, he runs the risk of being more vulnerable or getting calls to step down from his pursuit of re-election based on what's happened today. In his statement today, Mr. Cuellar didn't allude to his political future, but said that unequivocally that these allegations are false and that he and his wife have not engaged in misconduct.
All right, Scott MacFarlane with the very latest for us from Washington. Scott, thank you.